Welcome to the Dance Reel podcast. I'm Kate Histon. Before we dive into this episode, I would love a favour from you. To help us bring some wonderful guests to our show and grow, please subscribe or follow this channel, like, comment and share with a friend. That would be a great help. Thank you so much. This episode was sponsored by Master Dancer Mindset. Know yourself, be yourself and express yourself on and off the stage. Today on the Dance Reel podcast, I'm speaking with Marco Behal, CEO and founder of Stockholm Performing Arts Centre, international dance educator, choreographer, certified acrobatic arts teacher, and licensed IDO judge. With professional training in dance and performance from Stockholm University of the Arts and more than 15 years of teaching, Marco has shaped dancers both in Sweden and internationally. Through his work with the Swedish dance organisation, he has been actively engaged in the development of dance in Sweden and within the IDO. He is also the founder of Summer Dance Intensive, a project that has been running successfully for the past 3 years and continues to bring dancers together across Europe. When Marco was a dancer, he became a 10-time world champion, and today he combines his artistry, education, and judging expertise to inspire and guide the next generation of dancers across Sweden and Europe. I particularly enjoy this conversation today with Marco. He opens up about the vulnerabilities, some of the hard times he went through, personal challenges he had to face, and brings his professional lens and expertise to a conversation suitable for dance parents, teachers, and dancers. I know you'll enjoy this episode. Welcome, Marco.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
We were judging together through TAF Germany and IDO as well,
No, I think it was just a TAF Germany, but I think it was like a qualification round for the IDO championships, if I'm not wrong.
We met and had a really good conversation. And what a beautiful dancer, choreographer you are. And you've now got your own studio.
Yeah, thank you so much.
One of the things that fascinates me about you as well, you've moved through many roles, like a dancer, performer, choreographer, teacher, judge, and now a studio owner. How have these transitions shaped your relationship to dance?
When I was a child, it wasn't really my first thing of choice to start dancing. I really wanted to be a gymnast or this ice skating. But of course, we didn't really have the resources in that time when I was small to proceed with those sports. So the second best thing was dancing. And we had the chance to go to the local dance school because it was 5 minutes from home. And the most amazing thing is that that dance school in my very, very small city I'm from in Czech Republic is one of the best dance schools when it comes to the competition world in Czechia. So that was just a lucky coincidence that I had this amazing opportunity to, as a child, enroll to this one of the best dance schools in a way for the competitive dance. And really, I was kind of hooked from the beginning. I was still very interested, especially in the acrobatics. Like that was my favorite class. Yeah. And of course, I just started practicing twice a week, but it developed so drastically fast to a few days a week and then almost every day. And we had such a great team also, not only the teacher, but also we were very close with my friends. So we were dancing together for so many years until I was 21, and we were competing, traveling not only in Europe, but also we were in the US for the competitions. And I get to perform a lot because since the age of 16, there is ballroom season when people can go and have a ballroom party and have fun and drink and entertainment. And this is always January, February, and March in Czechia. And we were performing since I was 16 every weekend, maybe twice or 3 times a day, Friday and Saturdays on this ballroom happenings. And there I really got to perform a lot for audience, and that was really awesome. I really appreciate that a lot. I also worked 1 month in Croatia as a dancer in production when I was around 18, 19. And that was really tough in a way, but also it really helped me get the taste of the professional dancer, not only the competitive one, but also how the professional life looked like for 1 month, because we were performing during the nights, always changing the locations from hotel to hotel. We had only 1 day off. Sometimes we had 2 shows a night. We came back to the hotel at 3 in the morning. So that was really tough, but it was a very great experience for me as a performer, for sure. And after that, I've really decided quite early on that I wanted to be a professional dancer. I knew it since I was, I think, in the 4th grade. So around 10, 11, because I came home with the application for a ballet school, National Ballet School, and I really wanted to go there. But my mother didn't allow me to go, of course, because she had another kind of plan for me for my future. She really wanted me to be a lawyer or a doctor, like the usual stuff. So I couldn't enroll to the ballet school. And then there was not really a secondary education in dance after the elementary school. So I was waiting how to enter kind of the real professional world. And after like the gymnasium, which is like the secondary school for your listeners in Czechia, then after the exam, I enrolled to do an audition for a school in Czechia, a university for theater, which I really didn't get in, but I never had the training in theater. And there's no dance universities in Czechia. There's only universities for teachers, so that wasn't really the option. So I did an audition for one school in United Kingdom, but I didn't get in. I was on the reserve list. I was the first one, but everybody accepted the place. So it was online audition. So I didn't get to go. So I enrolled the University of Economics for 2 years, but the second year I really didn't like that. So I really wanted to proceed the dance career, and I felt quite strong passion for it in that way that I could really tell my mom and my family, who really, really didn't want me to proceed dance as a career. I was naive, and I just did an audition the year after for the University of Dance here in Stockholm, and I got in. And when I got the letter, my mom just came home and I just said, I'm moving to Sweden in 3 months, by the way.
Wow.
And I really did. And that was kind of shocking for all my family. At that 21, I left the country and moved to Sweden, started to proceed this dream of mine since I was a child to really get the professional education to be the professional dancer.
How did your family react?
They were quite shocked. They really didn't believe that I can do it by myself in a way, but I was so determined. When we got the information that I got in, it was May, because the audition process was almost 2 months, and I was traveling to Sweden 3 times to do the audition. It was 3 different rounds. So I was in Sweden almost for 3 weeks for the auditioning in total. And then we waited for 2 months to the results. When I got in, my family really didn't believe that I can manage it, because we really didn't have the financial resources to support the study in that way. So it was a lot of challenges in front of me, which I really needed to tackle. Finding the accommodation. Very quickly, I found a job in teaching actually in Sweden. So when I got the job at the same time as I'm studying, then I know, okay, this is possible because I will get an income so I can support myself. And then it was just booking the flight ticket. So I moved in the beginning of August. I was in Sweden for 2 days, and the day after I just went straight to work and I started teaching. And then a month later, I started a university in dance and performance. And since then, well, I'm here in Sweden, and I'm, as you said, now to really going through the different roles. So after the school, I didn't become a performer, and we will probably come back to this later, why that really happened. But I started teaching, as I said, directly when I arrived here. I was teaching before as well, and mostly choreographing for the competitive kids in the original dance school. but it really took off here in Sweden, my teaching career, and I started to get a lot of workshops outside of Sweden as well, traveling a lot, still being in the school, but traveling and teaching all around Europe. I also started judging in that time, like the last year at the university. That path opened a lot when
Yeah.
since even though I was still in school and trying to proceed my own career. And after the school, when the bubble burst, it was more natural and easier to just keep going with this path because
Yes.
it felt like the progression there and the doors were more wide open for me. It was easier to just go with it and develop from there. So that's what I did.
Yeah, you're definitely a gifted choreographer. Looking at your work, it's innovative and thoughtful and beautiful to watch. So you've got that gift. Do you love choreography?
It's actually funny that you say that because my dissertation work after the 3 years of the education, we were supposed to do like our own research in dance and deliver this 30 pages research about something from the field of dance or performance, because the program was called bachelor's degree in fine arts, dance and performance. So we
Yeah.
didn't only dance, but we had a big chunk of the education was also focusing on the performance and performative practices. And this my degree project, this research was about no to choreography, yes to dance. It was some cheesy title like this. When I
Wow.
really, when I really explained or trying to find the reasoning for myself why I don't like to be a choreographer, actually why I really want to be labeled as a dancer, that the dance is kind of the important thing, not really the choreography and the choreographers, which mostly gets praised.
Yeah.
And the dancers are just the bodies doing the work, but they are not as appreciated by the public
Yeah.
and society as the masterminds, the choreographers. And I was really, in that time when I was 24, 25, I was really annoyed by that.
Yeah.
That
How do you feel about it now?
it really depends on the setting, right?
Yeah.
Because of course the traditional theaters and the dance companies, they are still set in that kind of way that the choreographer is the one who always gets the biggest recognitions, and the
Mm.
dancers are only the vessels of his
Yeah.
or her storytelling. So I think that's kind of still the same for me. I'm very happy that especially in the contemporary dance now, the hierarchy of the companies and the projects, they are more and more going flatter. So it's not only somebody in the top deciding everything, but now
Yeah.
it's more collaborative work. That
Mm.
makes me really happy, because that's what I was trying very immaturely say, that that's kind
Yeah.
of the work I'm interested in
Yeah.
the dancing and the collaboration and the process, and not really listening to the kind of the God who's
Yeah.
telling me what I should do and how I
Mm.
should move and how, and deciding kind of everything by himself. So it was like my protest in that time. But it was really not only protest about the structure of the traditional dance norms, but it was also a little bit of protest of the education what we've got, actually.
Yeah.
Because I really had a hard time to navigate in that education. It was really hard 3 years of in my life, but also the best years, I need to say. If somebody always asked me about the university studies, I always say it was the worst and the best 3 years of my life, in a
Okay.
way, because it's really kind of broke my confidence
Oh,
after the school, and especially during the education. I really lost completely the confidence to stand on stage, something what I really loved before and
yeah.
enjoyed so much, not only as a kid but also as a young adult. During the school and after the school, like, I really didn't want to be seen dancing at all,
Wow.
which is a horrible shame. But of course, it kind of opened something else, some different doors for me to
Yes.
reflect upon. And I think still I have a lot of reflecting to do, how those three amazing and horrible at the same
Yeah.
time years kind of shaped me, right? Because it's uh, it's it's still something inside me would love to perform on the stage, but at the same time, the fear which was kind of embedded of
Yeah,
performing
right.
in that school is still so strong that I really still didn't find myself the strength to deal with it in a way,
So
if you
was that
understand
like
what I
the
mean.
teaching style, would you say, of the people that were teaching you, or where did that come from when you were studying? What was the
Yeah,
what was
I
the
yeah, it was a bit different aspects. I don't want to blame anybody but myself, actually, in a way, because when I came to the school the first year, it was just dreadful for me. I really expected completely something else from that education.
Yeah.
Like, I expected to develop my technique, my strength, my choreography, my skills, really like the skills. That's kind of what was my focus, that I thought that the school will completely push me somewhere else and I will become even better dancer, not only technically, but also choreographically. I was really so focused on the skills, and it was such a big shock for me, and I really couldn't comprehend and wrap my head around it that it really wasn't. It was so much more about everything else but developing the physical skills in a way, which is such a big contrast also for me because we were maybe only two dancers who were really competitive dancers
Mhm.
from the beginning. And when you're competing, like, that's completely different ball game. You only are hunting for better skills and higher level of difficulty. And suddenly that really wasn't important at all. It was so much about the own practice, the own creativity, about the art of it all. So the first year was horrible because I really didn't understand. So I got a feedback from the teachers, quite not harsh feedback, realistic feedback, like, this is the focus, this you need to develop, this is what we are talking about. We are talking about art in dance. And I was like, yeah, but the extensions, where are they?
Yeah.
The legs, the jumps, the turns. Why
Yeah.
are we not doing that? So I was so lost in a way.
Yeah.
And I think the teachers also had such a hard time with me because I always wanted to ask them, do you regret accepting me to this school? Because don't you regret? Because it feels like everything I do is so wrong and my head is on such a different planet. And they were like, no, we thought that it would be interesting to have somebody like you here because
Yeah.
it's such a contrast for what we usually take in. And we are just experimenting with a new perspective. So also, just maybe side note about the Stockholm University of the Arts and the dance program. Like, the dance program is super unique, and
Yeah.
I really love my school
Yeah.
because we always had the teachers only for maximum of 2 weeks. So
Oh,
they came
wow.
for 2 weeks, and then after 2 weeks they were gone forever, and somebody else came, and they were coming from different parts of world.
Yeah.
So we had so many teachers that if you didn't like somebody, they were like, it's okay, they are gone in 2 weeks, and you will never see them again, probably.
Ah,
And the other part is, like, when you're really connected with one teacher. I really loved one teacher who, from the US. And she was, I don't know if she is still teaching in Belgium at Part University, but we really connected, and I really just, like, didn't want her to leave ever. She was a ballet teacher. We had her in ballet, and I was like, please stay forever here. So that's very unique about that school. And of course, when you have a teachers who are coming only for 2 weeks, everything is new. You always need to be alert because the styles and the practices they are coming, they are different, but also, like, they never know you really,
yeah.
which is kind of hard part. So they never, when they are giving you a feedback, or if you have a bad day, they don't know because they don't know you. So they are
Yeah.
just doing their stuff. It's like a workshop base in a way,
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
could say. And that can be really harsh sometimes because they are maybe trying to push you and doing the best. But at the same time, they don't know what you've been through a week
Yep.
before, and it can really land badly. And
Yep.
sometimes it really did, not only for me, but also for my classmates. we had this amazing opportunity then after the first year that we could really talk with our mentors, which knew us, and there were 3 people from the staff working with us continuously for the 3 years, so we could have these talks and reflect. And I had a very hard time with one teacher, and I said, like, I'm not coming to those classes because I don't want to support, I don't want to be in this environment at all because I think it's toxic. It really doesn't work for me, and I don't want to be in this environment. And they were okay with it. I just needed to do something else, some extracurricular activities, but
Yeah.
they didn't push me to go to that class,
good.
and that was really nice. So there were a lot of great things about that education as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when you left the education and you made that decision to go towards the teaching choreographic side and not the dance career side, was there grief, and what did that process look like?
I think it's still a little bit ongoing. I'm not completely in peace with that. After the school, I had so much job offers for the teaching. I really
Yeah.
moved to another city right away from Stockholm to smaller city. I was working there for 3 days a week or 4 days at the dance school. I was traveling back to Stockholm twice a week to work into another dance schools. I was going for the workshops. I had my judging license by then, so I was judging a lot. I was really working a lot with the teaching and the adjudicating and workshops. So I was doing great when we are talking about the finances. At the same time, I was still the first year trying to get to the professional world as a professional dancer. So I was still trying. I was working so much to save money to travel for the auditions. And you know how it is. So you are going for audition, you're paying the hotel, you're paying the flight tickets, you're paying your own training beforehand. Then you're going there. It's 200 people. They start cutting, and suddenly you're out and you don't know why. And then you
Yeah, there's no
pack your
feedback.
bag,
Yeah.
and then you pack your bag and you go back, search for another audition. 2 weeks later, you travel to another country in Europe. And then it's kind of the same process. And you just, for me, why I gave up on that was number one, the financial stuff of it all. And I think that's the biggest issue for everybody who's really trying. Like, the
Yeah.
resources as a dancer after the school, you have such a limited resources because every money went to towards the education. And suddenly you should do the auditioning process, which is the expensive thing. And you will be trained financially. So that was one of the issues why I then stopped doing the auditions. And the second thing also, I would say about myself that I'm quite strong mentally. It's not so many things emotionally which can affect me.
Yeah.
But when you hear the constant no's, like one is fine, the second one is fine, the fifth is fine, the sixth you start to question, the 10th is getting harder and harder. And one day you are just like, I cannot spend so much money to just get no's all the time. I need to put my life together. I need to settle now and I need to work. And if it's teaching now, which I'm doing great, well, let's roll with this and maybe take a break from the auditioning. Initially, I thought that I would just take a break from the auditioning, but I never really tried again. But it was also the coronavirus then came,
Yes.
so which kind of put the whole world on a pause. And then I was like, well, life is fine.
Yeah.
Like, I am successful in what I'm doing. It makes me happy. So let's do this. And at the same time, still, even though I was auditioning, I have to say, the fear what was embedded from the school that I don't want to perform and I don't want to be seen on stage dancing and somebody judging me for what I'm doing, that was still so present, and it kind of still is present,
Yeah.
that I'm still a bit like only talking about it, like I get nervous just with the thought that I am standing on stage and dancing for people. Like, it's so weird in my head.
Yeah.
Like,
I relate.
do you understand? Like, what
Yeah.
part wants to completely go for it? I
Yeah.
know that I still have the physicality and I'm older now for a dancer. It's not the limit anymore nowadays, which is amazing. But the other part is still like, it's like, it's almost an anxiety. It's
Yeah.
just talking about this, you know?
That's funny. That's definitely a reason why I quit, was the not knowing how to resolve the performance anxiety, which felt the pressure from all directions.
Yeah.
But the financial thing, because I was living in Australia, I was going to audition for a European ballet company because I was so tall.
Yeah.
And my parents couldn't afford that, actually. Like, my mum was starting to freak out. But these conversations, we didn't necessarily have them. They were swept under the carpet. But it is a real hard financial decision. And I feel like I can relate, because I fell into teaching. It wasn't something that I thought I would do. And thankfully, I ended up loving it. But there was this grieving period, and it didn't hit me straight away. It was probably about 24. All of a sudden, it was like, oh my goodness, I could have had a career. And then watching old videos and then having to actually mourn that in a way. It was a hard time. But for me, I got it out of my system. It's great you're aware, right, of how you feel. Is there anything you do to put that passion into your choreography and dance and teaching and passing on your wisdom to your students now?
Definitely, that's the therapy for me in a
Yeah.
way. That teaching the younger dancers, that's kind of my therapy in a way,
Yeah.
for sure. I also have to say that I didn't really like have a grief period. Now I am trying to, watch my old videos and mourn in a way, because it's still, I think the therapeutic thing of teaching for me, it's like I'm always going to therapy, like every day when I'm teaching. It's
Yeah.
like my therapy
Yeah.
to kind of work with that inner. I always call it like, this is my biggest failure in life, but I also, that's kind of my teaching method and strategy, to
Yeah.
really like work with the failure, like not to give in to the failure, but to really work and grow from that. So
Yeah.
like everything what I'm doing now, it's because I failed to proceed to my dream to be a professional dancer. Or,
Wow.
well, I
Yeah.
have the degree, so I am, but
Yeah.
to the professional performer, right?
Yeah.
So from that point of the biggest like fail bottom for me is growing such a beautiful things, and I'm I have so many pathways I went because of that, which wouldn't
Yeah.
happen if I would just get the contract in France, which I really wanted,
Yeah.
for the company. Like, it would be completely different life. I don't know if it would be better. I don't know if it would be worse.
Yeah.
I will never know, of course, but I have another life now, which is
Yeah.
really fulfilling. And I think
Yeah.
that's kind of what makes me like, I don't need to go to therapy because of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. You've
You know,
accepted. Yeah.
I accepted that from that failure, it just, I'm just growing from there
Yeah.
somewhere else. And it's completely fine because it's a journey. It's not
Yeah.
like a destination, and I'm still on it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what pushing me forward and like it's keeping me sane
And
completely.
you're
So
still a dancer. You're always going to be a dancer, right?
yeah, of course, like you
Yeah.
never kind of
No.
stop in a way
Yeah.
to
No.
being a dancer, so that's
Yeah,
great.
I'm
Like,
hoping,
yeah.
as we have this podcast on YouTube, I'm hoping we can have some of your videos of you dancing, because I think you are beautiful to watch.
Oh,
And
thank
I
you.
hope you feel the same way, because I know when I used to watch my videos when I was younger, I was so self-critical, I couldn't watch it. But then being older, I can now sit with compassion and go, oh, it was so beautiful. Like, I love looking at those videos, whereas it took me years. It's just interesting, I suppose.
Mm.
But I think you're a stunning dancer. My goodness. Yeah. And
I completely can relate to that. Like, I cannot watch my videos.
you're
Like,
still there. Yeah.
especially, yeah. So especially the old ones when I was child, or from the
Yeah.
competitions, which I did. Like, I really cannot watch that, and
Yeah.
it's because something still inside me is like, it's the old way. I'm not
Yeah.
teaching like that anymore, but I
Yeah.
just like look for the mistakes,
Yeah.
Why did you do that? Oh, that was too much. Oh, that was too little.
Yeah.
That could be better. And
Yeah.
like, I don't have this approach towards my students at
Yeah.
all. I completely have the opposite approach to
Yeah.
this. Look what you're doing. Okay, you think it's failure? No, it doesn't matter because
Yeah.
you did wrong, but you can only do better from there.
Yeah.
So let's get this as a teaching opportunity to grow. It's amazing to fail. You cannot learn anything new if you don't do wrong. So
Yeah.
this is amazing. Let's encourage that. But when it comes to myself and my dancing, it's like completely the opposite. It's the old way.
Yeah.
Like horrible, horrible, horrible. Don't do that. Do it better. Just pull it, the muscles up, you know? So
Yeah.
I am still like, when it comes to myself dancing, like I enjoy the moving a
Yeah.
lot. I know that people like to see me dancing because people usually say that as you like, I'm very thankful about that, but I don't see myself in that way.
Yeah.
Maybe in the mirror is different, but for sure the videos, like, that's a big no-no for me. Like, it's so strange, so confusing in a way in my head, but that's how it is. Like, I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
So when you first started choreographing, what guided your creative process and helped you find your unique movement language?
So I started quite early on. I think especially nowadays for the students, at least my experience in Sweden, like when I say that I started flirting with choreography when I was 15,
Yeah.
that's like, how is it possible? Like I'm like my students in 15, like they don't want to decide even a pose in their own solos, you know? Like they don't believe in themselves in that way at all. I started for sure when I was 15 because I remember that we were like 8 people in the same age, and in my dance school, when you turn 15, that means that you are now leaving this child group of dancing and you're going to the adult team,
Yeah.
which had a different name. So there was like a ceremony to
Mhm.
bridge that. And I remember that I threw like a show for our teacher, like thank you
Yeah.
for what you've done for us.
Yeah.
So I booked the venue. I somehow convinced all of the 7 other people that we are going to do this and we are going to perform like original solos and duos and groups. And I did the invitations together with some of my friends, and we did the performance, you know, and I was choreographing a lot of the pieces actually. So
Yeah.
that was what I really remember. That was the first time I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to choreograph the whole show for 30 minutes and it will be amazing and you will be amazing and let's do it. So that was
Yeah.
like kind of cocky of me, but we really did that. So
Right.
that was one of the first memories. Before that, I remember just dancing in my room a lot when I was a small child and do choreographing in a way.
Yeah.
We could call it like a pre-choreographing, like setting movements together
Yeah.
to some song. And after the show, I got the job to help and choreograph and teach from a teacher for the younger kids. And it went from there, and she was amazing because she was really guiding me a lot with my first steps, really, like, and it was a tough love. She saw that some of the piece I made, my early pieces, like it was a not very good choreographies, I would say. But sometimes she said it, and sometimes she just let it fail in a way,
Yeah.
so I can learn from it. And I think that's so much better approach.
Yeah.
And that's my approach, as
Yeah.
you heard earlier, like fail as much as you can, just embrace the failure. When I was younger, the inspiration was mostly I liked that song. Later, when I started to get a bit older, towards 17, 18, like what I wanted to say. But since I was dancing a lot of my own choreographies, then it was quite easy to express through the dance and from the music the emotions,
Yeah.
what I was going through, and it was quite simple stuff. Or sometimes I was just trying to dip into too deep stuff, which really weren't mine, and it really didn't feel authentic. And now I can really step back and see that, like, come on, what do you know? What did you know in that time about this issue
Yeah.
to give you the right to
Yeah.
even think to do a choreography about it? So that was then. And after the school, the University of Dance, it really completely changed for me.
Yeah.
And I started to look at each choreography more as an artistic project in a way,
Yeah.
put more thought into it and not just to be driven by some emotion or just waiting for inspiration to strike. Now I really like, let's start with doing, just do something, just start, don't
Yeah.
just wait, start. And sometimes I start with movement, sometimes still with the song. But mostly, I have to say, for me, the process is split into two. So if I'm choreographing a jazz piece, then it's like my life, what I wish sometimes what it would be, like this glamorous and happy show moments.
Yes.
Like this, the longing for being the performer on stage. Like I was
Yeah.
really
Wow.
reflecting about this.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the modern and contemporary pieces, and went just through the list of the choreographies, the solos I did for the kids this year.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite. It's the dark side of my
Yeah.
life and dancing career. One piece is called The Shame, The
Yes.
second one, it's a lot about trying to accept something difficult, like, for example, a grief,
Yes.
or like working through the shame. But still, it's not like that people are dying in the end of all
Yeah.
of my choreographies. That's not what I'm doing, but
Yeah.
always trying to find the resolution
Yeah.
in it, in the bad stuff. So I think it's really, really, really reflecting my life in a way. Everything what I do, and it maybe sounds very selfish in a way, but it's still my art. So of
I
course,
was gonna say that is art, though, is the ability to take your experiences and transcending it by putting it out there as a performance or, for a painter on a wall, or but you're a performance artist, and choreographers are artists as well. So, wow.
yeah. So everything what I do now, it really feels like it's like reflection of
Yep.
myself and what
Yep.
I've been through or what I'm going through, through somebody else dancing it and expressing it on the stage. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's really funny, especially when it comes to the jazz choreographies, because
Yeah.
I really didn't realize it, but especially when I was younger. But now I really feel that this is like the burlesque, the glamorous part of my life.
Yeah.
And the second one is the introvert side.
Yeah,
So
right. Yeah.
it's really interesting, yeah.
And you've recently opened your own dance studio. So, what inspired that decision, and what kind of learning environment do you aim to cultivate? Congratulations, actually, firstly. That's an amazing achievement. That's wonderful.
Yes, thank you so much. I was teaching in Sweden for many, many years in different schools, and I just felt that I want something more for
Yeah.
myself. It came to the point that, very honestly, I was so tired of the airport. I was traveling 50 flights a year before the COVID. So
Wow.
it was like teaching, teaching, teaching Sweden, and the weekend is somewhere, and
Yeah.
mostly like hotel and airport. In the beginning, I thought I'm living the rock star life. Like when you are just like traveling and it's just a bus, a hall, a train, and then you go back and you never sleep in a way. So there was kind of that in the beginning, but I got pretty tired of it very quickly. I could do it sustainably for 3 years and then I was completely drained.
Yeah.
And I wasn't quite satisfied that just to be a teacher. And I knew that I didn't have more opportunity to grow within the dance schools because in Sweden it's small businesses.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Mm.
there is like no more potential, in a
Yeah.
way to either you buy the dance school from someone
Yeah.
or you open your own or you are just a teacher. And I completely respect everyone's path, but I
Yeah.
just felt to be a teacher and teach 5 to 9 or 6 to 9 p.m. that's not really enough for me. I
Yeah.
wanted to do something more, and therefore there came the decision to start my own. Firstly, I was co-owning one dance school for 3 years,
Yeah.
which was like the trying path. And we all thought that it will work magically and perfectly. But as any relationship, Sometimes it works whole life and sometimes it just doesn't.
Yeah.
And it really didn't towards the end, because the difference is how to lead the dance school and what to accomplish and what kind of environment for the dancers we wanted to create. It was so different that we just had to separate in a way. It's really hard because you need to be aligned. So I opened my own,
Yeah.
which I own now. And yeah, it's amazing. I have to tell you, it makes me really energized each morning to start work. It's a lot of work, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I'm working almost every day. And the environment, it's very important. Like that was kind of like I had a half a year last year, a break when I was teaching just 2 days a week to really prepare and reflect what kind of school do I want to create for the kids. And I really did my research in a way, and I wanted to create a space. And the funny part is, of course, the name of the school is The Space, but that's kind of the starting point. I wanted to create a space for both the kids and young adults to come to have a safe environment where they can really be creative. Like this is something which is my mission. I want the kids to be creative again, because I feel like through the generations we kind of lost it, the creativity for the kids, because I see how the kids, until when they are like 6, 7, they are still very creative and they want to play and they want to dance, and they don't have this burden of shame or insecurity. They are just going for everything. If you say now those hands are butterfly, so they are completely buying it. Like it's amazing. Like now we are walking as a bears, so they are like pretending to be bears, and nobody's feeling this weird shame. But there is a quite line. Like when they get to this year 7, 8, they get their phones. Like suddenly the creativity is completely gone. And when some things feel imaginative, it's like, no, we don't want to do that. Like trying to improvise, like I don't know what to do. Like everybody's so frozen. So for me, it's very important to create the space where this will be nourished. The fantasy, imagination, the creativity through dance is nourished. At the same time, I want to create a platform that the dance education will be the highest quality I can provide, and to kind of merge those two ideas to still give the proper training which the dancers will need. So if there will be some, and that's my dream, my biggest dream and goal in life, to have students who really want to take the path and to the step to be a professional dancer, so they are technically and mentally ready for that. At the same time, to have also the space for the kids who are not going to be a professional dancer, and that's kind of the majority, but to help them anyway to kind of rely on their creativity, whatever they are doing in life, that they can be still creative and they can be innovative and they don't need to hold back and feel shame, and also to not to be afraid of failure, right? That's kind of, again, the thing which is kind of very important in my dance school, like try, fail, learn, and don't be afraid of it, just embrace it. So that was the idea why the space was created. And the funny part is also, I knew that the name will be Space, but it's like people will be asking, what does it mean? Why space? And I felt like this explanation will be too deep in a way for somebody who just wants to know a very quick answer. So the official name of the school is called Stockholm Performing Arts Center, and we are based in Stockholm. And the short of this is Space with CE in the end. So, and when I got it on the paper like this, like Space Stockholm Performing Arts Center, I'm like, that's it.
That's
Like
cool.
I have the mission. I know what I want to do and what kind of environment I want to provide for the young kids and young adults. And it was like, let's just do this. I can do this.
Of course.
So
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And if I can say, my experience of you is you know your craft, you're really sharp. And I've seen you in the judging platform as well, be decisive, like you know what you like. And I'm wondering if you could give the listeners some knowledge on how you judge, anything to do with judging and what you love about it.
Compared to teaching, I really don't enjoy it at all,
Yeah,
actually. But for me, judging is like I'm trying to, the first thing is I'm trying to give back to the community.
yeah,
Like if there would be no judges, I wouldn't do the competitions and I
yeah,
wouldn't be a dancer. Somebody needs to do that so
yeah,
we can have the new generation of dancers
yeah,
coming from the competitions, and we need kind of fire alive in
yeah,
people. So that's my first thing. Why I don't like judging thing is because I enjoy so much more the time and development in the classes with the
yeah,
kids. This is my purpose right now, and I really want to nourish them as a dancers. And
yeah,
the competitions, they are great feedback for some of them, but
yeah,
it can be also very harsh and devastating for other
yeah,
ones.
yeah,
But I'm doing that for the ones who wants to compete, and I'm a competitive person myself. I want to give them the chance to be seen, and as you said, I'm trying to be smart about it
yeah,
and find my reasoning also for myself if I'm putting a score down,
yeah,
because if I always think if the dancer will come to me and ask me, then it needs to align with the score,
yeah,
which
yeah,
I put on the paper.
yeah.
So it's a big responsibility.
I love your honesty. It's great. And you are an international judge.
Yeah.
So you've seen lots of different cultures and influences. And how would you say that has influenced your perspective as a teacher and as an artist, going to different countries and seeing different works of art in your judging role?
So I'm traveling quite a lot to many national competitions around Europe, and I also judge already 2 international, like the IDO competitions,
Yeah.
which are always huge, and many cultures and many dancers from different countries are coming. So I appreciate everyone, really, like especially when they are coming from different culture and have a different perspective and different expression. What I do not enjoy is, and unfortunately I think it's epidemic right now of it, that the choreographers, the famous ones who are creating the winning pieces, they are asked to travel to another countries, and I understand them, like, come on, it's business, it's money, of course, do that. But at the same time, what's bothering me as a judge to see dancers coming from different countries with the same pieces or the same movement languages. And I am, as a judge, really looking not only for the technique here, because technique can be always developed,
Yes.
and I also understand that we cannot provide in this hobby dance
Yeah.
schools, in a way, the same technical level as a ballet schools.
Yeah.
When you enroll, when you are a child and you are going through the education, like we cannot and shouldn't. That's
Yeah.
very important. We shouldn't even strive for that kind of level, because
Yeah.
we cannot achieve it in 2-3 hours a day when they've been a whole day in school. Like that's unsustainable.
Yes.
We are ruining the children in that way. So it's not real, and the technique can be always developed, it can be always better. So
Yeah.
this is not the most important thing for me, but I really want to see originality
Yeah.
and self-expression, uniqueness in the movement language. And I think we are a little bit losing it at the moment,
Yeah.
since there are people who are internationally renowned, and there are schools and there are parents and there are kids who thinks that it's important to have a choreography from this person because I will then get closer to my
In.
goal of
Yes.
winning,
Yeah.
right? Which for me, it's like the completely opposite.
Yeah.
If I see the piece and then comes another one, it's the same and it's the same, then
Yeah.
suddenly I'm not interested in neither of those. And
Yeah.
then comes something which is its own, and suddenly you're the best for me.
Yes.
Because you're unique, you're your own, you're doing your stuff. So then, of course, you need to still have technique and everything else. But this is what I prioritize.
Yeah.
I think it's important because as judges, we are shaping also how the competitive dance looks like. So if we are continuing to praising what is the same, and good, we are missing what could be different and excellent, really, in a different way. And
Yeah.
I believe also that it's coming a little bit back, this idea, what I'm saying right now, because when I reflect now from my auditioning period, when I was traveling and doing audition for the dance companies, I really wasn't unique.
Yeah.
I came quite close, like we were 3 in the selections, or we were like a group of 5 and the dance was done now, just the final interview in a way. But I think I wasn't unique enough because I am not really. I'm white. What's shocking about that? Nothing. Brown hair, brown eyes, not tall, not short, not big, not small. I was kind of average in that way. So I don't want to see on the competition something average. I want to see something unique, something special. Just give it to me and I will appreciate it and I will talk about it for months because I love it. So that's important for me to see on the competition. And that's something I would encourage everyone who's listening, not only to your podcast, but every competitive dancer, and the teachers especially. Believe in yourself, work on your craft, and don't just give in to achieve some gold medal no matter what. It's better to achieve the gold medal with something you own and not something which is borrowed and bought. I think that's better strategy.
Yeah. I've done a bit of judging in Europe, seeing the pieces that are specially choreographed by choreographers. And then I remember once there was 3 in a row, and then I was like, I don't even know which one I like because they're all the same.
Yeah.
And you're right, they end up not standing out because everyone's trying to go with the same formula of getting certain choreographers, which is tricky, right?
Yeah,
So,
really. But as I said before, I understand the choreographers.
yeah.
You're doing an amazing job.
Yes.
I appreciate it. I applaud to you. And of course, this is your job. So continue doing that. But on the other hand, I need to say what I said is a message for the dancers in a way, because I believe that if you have a great teacher or a mentor and you buy this famous choreographer and you have this amazing choreography, you can still work on it the rest of the year and make it your own and make it unique. Don't just be kind of lazy and satisfied with somebody else's work. Put also your work into it and make it outstanding. Make it even better. That's what I say when I'm choreographing for somebody. This is the foundation of a house. And your job now for the rest of the year is to decide, oh, do I want a pink wallpaper? Or do I want to paint it white? Which sofa do I want? You need to now make the house livable, make the choreography unique and your own, because I just gave you really the foundation, and it's up to you. It's now in your hands to develop it. That's what I'm saying always.
That's really
To the
lovely. You're giving
students.
the dancer that sense of agency and putting their own heart and soul into it.
Yeah, and trying also to encourage them to really find their own voice through some, and this is again linked to this research I've done, no to choreography, yes to dancing, right?
Yes.
Because this is something what was so annoying for me in the time, that I was just giving material which I needed to exercise perfectly in the way which was done in 1971, or I don't remember that piece we did from Trisha Brown, like it needs to be in that style. There is no wiggle room in a way. And I really didn't like that. So now I don't want to behave the same way with my own choreographies when I'm giving it to the dancers. Like, I want to do the opposite. I don't want to be the same one who's restricting them. I just want to open the doors for them to grow, you know?
That's so insightful. And my final question for you,
Yeah.
what does the future hold for the gorgeous, talented Marco?
I've really hoped to continue for sure developing the school. This is the first year we've been opened. There is a lot of place to grow from there. I would say that it's very humbling for me, for a teacher and a choreographer who was mostly working for the past 10 years with the creme de la creme of Swedish and
Yeah.
international dancers, to go back and work with beginners,
Yeah.
3 years old, 7 years old children. That's very humbling, and it's really helping me to grow
Yeah.
again as a teacher tremendously, I have to say, because suddenly the structure of the class and everything is so important, and also to think always 3 steps ahead,
Yeah.
what I want to achieve and what's the end goal for that class and for the dancer. So for sure, the future holds me being so much better in my craft as a teacher, creating even better environment when we really encourage the creativity even more, and to really let the dancers, the children, to dream and to not be afraid to be different and to be creative and to try things without the fear of what
Yeah.
anybody else will think. So that's kind of my goal for the future for me and the school, of course. I hope to continue to inspire the dancers through not only through my teaching and workshops abroad, but also through the judging in a way.
Yeah.
That's important. And lastly, since I'm a board member of the Swedish dance organization for past 4.5 years, I have a quite great responsibility on my shoulders with my colleagues to make the competition scene in Sweden grow and develop
Yeah.
through also education of the teachers. So I really hope to also in the future create, because I am creating now an education for the performing arts styles in our federation.
Yeah.
So I really hope that me giving back and helping younger teachers is also a future I can continue giving to the others.
That's so beautiful. Well, Marco, it has been such an honor to interview you and to find out
Thank
all
you.
about you and your transitions in your career. And we'll have in our show notes how people can find you online and look at your work and your dance studio. That's really exciting.
Thank you so much, Kate. It's really nice that we had the chance to catch up again because,
Oh,
for everybody listening, when
yeah.
we are judging, like we have such a short time to
Yeah.
spend with each other, even though we spend with each other like 14, 15 hours a day, but the
Yeah.
breaks are so short.
Yes.
So it was so nice to have the chance to talk with you
Oh,
again, really.
and we'll stay in touch, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of
All
course we
right.
will.